Hi, my name's Nicole. Today I'm going to be helping out a friend. My friend was recently in a car accident and was awarded a structured settlement that will pay her $5,000 at the end of each year for 20 years. She's done some shopping and has found that she could invest those payments at a local bank and earn 5% interest annually. A third party has approached her and offered to buy the settlement from her for $49,000. She needs to figure out whether it would be better for her to accept the $49,000 in exchange for her settlement or to keep the settlement payments of $5,000 per year for 20 years. I'm going to help her out by solving this both manually and in Excel today.
To begin solving this problem manually, I'm going to start by putting all the information that I know in a timeline. The timeline is going to go from today, which is year 0, and go up every year. And since my friend has been offered a settlement payment up until the end of 20 years, that will be the end of my timeline. So these are the number of years that we're looking at in the calculations. I also know that my friend has been offered a payment of $5,000 at the end of each year for 20 years. So these are the payment amounts. And then lastly, we know that my friend could invest the $5,000 payments in a bank account and receive a 5% annual return on investment. So this is going to be the interest rate that we'll use in our calculations. The question is whether the present value of all of these annuity payments is more or less than the $49,000 that my friend has been offered by the third party who wants to buy her settlement off of her. In order to do this, we have to take the $5,000 payments and get the present value of each one based on the 5% annual return and get all of them to find out what the total present value of all of these payments is. We can use the annuity discount factor to calculate the present value. So the formula is that the present value is equal to the payment amounts multiplied by the annuity discount factor, which takes into account the time and the interest rate that the money will be using. So the annuity discount factor being 1 minus 1 over the interest rate plus 1 to the power of n, which is the number of years, and all of this over the interest rate. If I plug in the actual values into this formula, we get $5,000 is the payment that she would be receiving each year, multiplied by 1 minus 1 over 1 plus 0.05, which is the interest rate, to the power of 20, because that's the number of years that we would be looking at, over 0.05, which again is the interest rate. And when we calculate that, we obtain a total value of $62,311.05. Based on this information, the annual payments of $5,000 invested in a bank account at a rate of 5% return is worth $62,311.05 to my friend. Since this amount is higher than the $49,000 being offered to her by the third party, she's better off keeping the settlement amounts in the $5,000 payments at the end of each year for 20 years, because this is worth more to her than the $49,000 offer. In order to solve this problem using Excel, I'm going to begin again by entering the information that I know. I know that my friend has been offered payment amounts of $5,000 per year. I also know that the number of years that she's been offered this amount for is 20. And I know that she could get a rate of 5% return from the bank if she were to invest this amount as she got it. So this is the interest rate. Now, we're looking again for the present value of this amount, given the number of periods that she'll receive payments and the rate of return that she can get when she invests these amounts. So we're going to use the present value function, so PV. So I'm going to put in the information that I have. The rate is 5%. The number of periods is the number of years that she'll be receiving the payments for, and that's 20. The payment amount is $5,000. The future value we can leave blank because we don't know it, and it's kind of irrelevant for this problem as we're trying to compare the present value of these payments with the offer of $49,000 from the third party. The type is 0, or we can just leave this field blank because this is an ordinary annuity and the payments would be received at the end of each year. When I put that information in, I obtain the same answer of $62,311.05. This amount is showing up as negative because of a convention in Excel which makes the present value the opposite sign of the payment amounts. If we wanted to make it show up as positive, we could simply put the payment amount as a negative. And that gives us a positive value in the present value field. So we know again that because the present value of the $5,000 payments at the end of each year for 20 years is worth $62,311.05 to my friend, this amount is higher than what's being offered by the third party. So she's better off just taking the settlement as is and not selling the settlement to the third party for $49,000.